2024 is here and it's time for me to take a look back on the top 5 gear purchases of 2023. But before we continue, hi, my name is Nico. I create videos about camera gear, audio equipment, desk setups, and I'm not a professional photographer or videographer. I used to professionally edit at a podcast company, but all the opinions here on this channel is from the perspective of an everyday tech dad. Now, let's go back to the video. Now, just a disclaimer, everything that I will feature in this list is something that I bought. This will not include things that was sent to me by brands. And if you've seen my Instagram carousel post about this same topic, I changed number 5 because I realized what I really liked about that certain equipment. So now let's go to number 1, and in number 1 is my trusty Sony ZV-E1. Now, if you are a longtime follower of the channel, you know that my favorite camera of all time is the A7S III. However, with family travel coming into play more now that the world has opened up from the lockdown days, I wanted to get a smaller camera. And this year, Sony just released this A7S III clone, but in a smaller body. Now, by switching to the ZV-E1, I lose some of features like the dual card slot and the passive cooling system, but those things aren't really big of a deal in how I use my cameras. If you're a professional going on professional shoots, client work, this probably isn't an ideal switch, but for me, travel content creator with my family, for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I don't mind losing those features. And this has been my most used camera of 2023. I just love it. I use it in both the studio and when we are traveling, whether local travel or international travel with the family. For in-studio stuff, I mainly pair this with this 24-70 G Master lens, which is a pretty huge setup. But when I am going out, vlogging, travel videos, I use this Sony 16-35 f4 power zoom lens. And moving on to number 2 is the Peter McKinnon Nomatic 25-liter camera pack and the Nomatic Peter McKinnon 8-liter sling. I know these are 2 separate purchases, but I'm counting them as one in this list. Let me just put these down. And the reason why these 2 bags are so high in my list is because, I've used them so much this year and they prove to be so functional when it comes to travel. The 25-liter camera pack is such a joy to use, especially with the configuration that I have right now, wherein I can get my camera from the top compartment instead of the usual, side compartments of other camera bags. And the 8-liter sling just seems to be the right size for me, both, outside, like the external size, and what I can fit inside the bag. And also, this elastic band is such a game changer, especially when I go through airports. I wanted to get my passport inside and I want to close my bag, but I know I'm going to get something else when I go through either security or immigration. You just use this instead of closing the bag using the zippers, and it was just so convenient in international trips. And in number 3 is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now, the Pocket 3 might have been a little bit higher if I purchased this earlier in the year, but since it just got released like in October, I put the bags over it just because I've used those more this year. But this has been an amazing camera. The image quality is phenomenal. I've used it in our Japan trip and some of everyday videos here and there, and it's amazing that we get that type of quality from this tiny body. And when it comes to convenience of bringing this instead of a mirrorless camera, you can't beat the convenience of having this small camera as compared to a mirrorless camera. So for those situations wherein I want to still get, mirrorless camera type of quality, then I could just opt to bring this instead of my Sonys. Number 4 on my list is the Polar Pro Helix Maglock filters. Now, if you are a follower of the channel, you know that I love magnets and I've been using magnetic filters in the past. And a problem that I encounter a lot of times is that when someone bumps the magnetic filters, it has a tendency to fall off. And I don't get to have that problem here in the Polar Pro Helix Maglock system. because aside from it being magnetic to the base plate, you also twist it and lock it onto the base plate. So there are 2 points of attachment, making it more secure so that there will be no problem of, this coming off because someone bumped the front of my lens. And the 2 filters that I specifically got is the VND 2-5 and the mist filter. And at number 5 in my Instagram post, I posted that the Ulanzi Coman Zero White tripod was my number 5 top gear purchase of 2023. But actually, when I thought about it more, it was the F38 system from Falcam. Now, this F38 plate is found in my tripod. It's found in the friction arm where I'm shooting right now. It's also found in my mini tripod. And this has just been a convenient way of mounting my cameras into all of these tripods. And what's good about it is, yes, it's a proprietary system by Ulanzi or Falcam, but if you find yourself in a situation where you're mounting it to other people's gear, as long as it's Arca Swiss compatible, then you can also mount the plates into Arca Swiss mounts. So that's it for the top 5 gear purchases of 2023. Let me hear your thoughts. What do you think about my list? Or better yet, please do share your top 5 in the comment section below. And if you want to watch more videos about camera gear, audio equipment, and desk setups, please do check out my other videos here.